whether we were going to have a blue background or a black background or that background, or
it's just confusing.
It's nuts. Hey everybody, welcome to the Atheist Experience Live. Today is Sunday, June 20th, 2010. It's Father's Day here in the United States. I'm your host, Matt Dillahunty. Joining this week, Don Baker.
Good to be here.
How are you?
Just fine. Just fine.
You're not a father.
I'm not a father.
Me
no.
neither. So
I'll
our
say
day.
Hey to my dad.
Yeah, I called my dad just before the show. So this is a live public access television program sponsored by the Atheist Community of Austin, a nonprofit educational organization promoting positive atheism and the separation of church and state. The ACA has weekly meetings. Hey, looky there. There's like something right there. Let me push play. I can't find it. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. We're vanished.
I think that was the self-destruct button, Matt.
All right. Don't push that button. The ACA has weekly meetings every Sunday at Romeo's on Barton Springs Road beginning around 11:30. Except for the first Sunday of the month when we host a lecture series at the Austin History Center located at the corner of 9th and Guadalupe. The next lecture, the July lecture, will be Amy Parsons talking about Camp Quest, Texas. Any atheist or atheist-friendly person is welcome to come to any of our events. You don't have to be a member to attend, and that's lectures in particular are open to everybody, and we enjoy having a good crowd down there. We're getting to the point where we may actually have to look for a new venue because a handful of the lectures over the last 6 months or so have filled up the History Center. And hey, the more the merrier. Bring it on.
We've had some very popular lectures lately.
Yep.
It's been great.
After this program, in addition to this program, the ACA also sponsors a show which is currently on hiatus, but would normally be a bi-weekly internet audio podcast called The Nonprofits. The plan is to bring the nonprofits back in August was the plan.
Okay.
It's now looking like it's going to be early September, maybe as kind of an intro to the Bat Cruise thing that's going to happen. I'm moving is the problem, and there's a lot of scheduling conflicts and the radio equipment, but we have plans to bring the show back once everything settles down.
They just want a show. They don't want to know about your personal life.
Well, I try to
you gotta keep them happy, Matt.
I have to tell them what's going on. Otherwise, I get, what's wrong with you slackers? Is the show dead? Why isn't there a show? Why wasn't there a show last week? Please give me a show. I didn't do a show last week. Can you do another show?
Be demanding. Our fans
if you guys stop doing the show, will you do another show, please?
Please.
Yeah, we will. Hang tight, and we'll do what we can, including trying to even get some special editions or special guests as time and resources permit. After this program is over, we get together and go to dinner at Threadgills at 301 West Riverside Drive. Again, that's open to the public as well. If you're coming down to preach, proselytize, or provoke, please don't. Just call in. We'll have the number up on the screen shortly. Don's got a few things to talk about. I got a couple things I want to mention before we get the show underway. But we look forward to having people joining us. We're on the air till 6 o'clock. We'll be down there around 6:30 or so. And Atheist Happy Hour is every Thursday at the Dog and Duck beginning at around 7 o'clock. Quick notes. Tomorrow, if you are in the Johnson City, Tennessee area, which I'm sure at least 2 of you are, so hi, sweetie. The Phelps clan from the Westboro Baptist Church is going to be in Johnson City to protest another military funeral. There are atheist groups and non-atheist groups that are planning to
do a counter-protest.
Right? I don't want to necessarily call it a counter-protest. The important thing to remember is that the Phelpses aren't idiots. They are they're within their legal rights. They are intentionally operating at the very limits of their legal rights in the hopes that perhaps somebody will sue them and they can make money is perhaps one of their goals.
It's a family of lawyers.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a family of lawyers and things. So for those people who are planning to go out and do something, keep that in mind, that they're operating within their legal rights. They're exercising their right to free speech, no matter how much they come off as being mean and ignorant and hateful and bigoted. So don't turn your counter-protest into a brawl or a ruckus or anything that provides great publicity for them. Instead, they should be looked at as kind of the pathetic, embarrassing cousins that we have to have around. I mean, they are the reason, they're the element of free speech that some people would like to complain about, but they are the necessary evil that comes with living in a free society. And so feel free to, you know, scoff and jeer and look at them curiously and bring your God hates pigs sign and, you know, but the other thing that's important to remember is that they're there to protest a military funeral. And you can make the situation worse by turning it into a bigger deal than it is. And I wouldn't want to take steps that go beyond what the family wants you to do. So exercise some caution, but by all means, if this is an issue that you care about and something that you have an interest in, you know, swing by, take some pictures, see if maybe you can engage Shirley in a conversation, since I'm sure that she'll be there. You know, maybe ask her how long she thinks it'll be before we can protest her dad's funeral. You know, maybe she got a rough estimate or something. And remind them that we support their right to free speech, even if they are flaming asshats. And you kind of have to do that. The other thing I wanted to mention before I turn it over to Don is that, in addition, if you don't get through on the phones today, or you don't want to, you can email tv@atheist-community.org. That goes to myself, the co-hosts, the people behind the scenes. We can't possibly answer all of them. We get just bucket loads of email. And curiously, something that I have to remind people of on occasion, I'm pretty much a what you see is what you get guy. I don't take it easy on people when they present horrible arguments or say something stupid simply because we happen to agree on one issue with respect to religion or atheism or whatever else. So if you agree with me on something and you're writing in to challenge me on another issue, don't expect me to say, oh, I'm talking to an atheist, so or an agnostic or something else, so I'll just have to, you know, kind of politely sugarcoat it. If your argument's BS, that's what I'm going to say. And I'm sorry if it, you know, ends up rubbing some people the wrong way, or if you were a fan of the show right up until I disagreed with your crazy idea, you know, sorry. The one thing that I'm going to be pushing for over the next year with calls, particularly calls from theistic people or people who have some disagreement, is do you care? First of all, do you care whether or not your beliefs are true versus whether or not they're just comforting or feel right or intuitively? Do you care whether or not your beliefs are true? And if so, how do we go about figuring that out? The other thing to ask, do you care about the world that you live in, the impact that individuals' beliefs have on the world that we share? Because if you don't care, then I can hang up and go on to somebody who does care. Because some of us do care. Some of us do care about the world we live in, and some of us do care whether or not our beliefs are true. And we care enough that we have investigated the best ways to determine whether or not our beliefs are true, and we spend a great deal of time engaged in conversations in order to either demonstrate that our beliefs are true or to demonstrate that other assertions simply are not justified. If you don't care whether or not your beliefs are true, if you believe because it feels good, don't even bother calling in, because there's no point in having a conversation there. I'm not interested in talking to people who only want to preach, who only want to share their, oh, this is what, you know, my beliefs have done for me. Couldn't care less. So if you care, call in. We'll have the number up shortly. Don, what did you bring for today?
Well, I wanted to talk about some of the insights I have, I think, in debating with theists. A lot of hardcore atheists like to debate, and they get into arguments and these sorts of things. And that's sort of part of the purpose of the show, is to interact with theists. And a lot of atheists get frustrated with this sort of thing because it's very hard to change people's minds. And